Hey everybody, before you continue watching the video, make sure you give the channel a like and subscribe. Go and follow us on Instagram. Go and check out all the different social media scenarios. Make sure if you're enjoying the content, go there, like, subscribe, follow, so we can keep putting stuff out. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. All right, make a comment on either of our pages and we'll answer them as soon as we can.
Like at the start of the block when you're showing the positions, like when I would be teaching is compared to the end of the block, you just become so much better at it.
More proficient.
Well, yeah, you're just more efficient. You've sort of like, because you know the southern block you'll show it and then you'll go over some details and then you're driving home that night.
And them as well. They also become a little more proficient. You know, the students.
No, but we're just, you know, it's nice to talk about because man, we're not perfect. We don't know everything straight away. Like even, you know, I mean, everybody's a human being. You know, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's capable of doing the wrong thing, and everyone is constantly learning, and that's the cool thing about life in general. Like we're all open to learning and improving ourselves all the time, and we do it within our own teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but there's another aspect as well. That's it. Like we, as coaches, you also have the ability, like, or you start developing this ability of understanding. Of course, like, it takes time. It's not one person will come to the first class and you'll be able to kind of grasp that, but you start understanding where that person, how that person absorbs what you're showing, and you know, and then what kind of feedback you can give to that person, like a bit more customized, where that person have more facilities to broaden up their game, so your advice will be more in that direction. That kind of feeling. It's like you know, like a soccer coach. You're looking at the person, going, "Oh, you're gonna play as in defense. Oh, you're gonna be." That kind of broader thing is also interesting, you know, because people learn different, and it's interesting to be able to see how this is have a touch on that as well. You know,
I agree with that, but I think people take too much ownership off of themselves and place it on other people. You know what I mean? Like I think people need to be accountable for the fact that like you have to be coachable as a person. Like you have to be able to receive information. Like kind of like what you're saying. Like, man, you develop through that. Everyone has to.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Most people are not.
Not everyone can be coachable. I agree with you. No, like they have to change their mind.
Most people are not going to be able to teach themselves. Most people can't be self-taught, and they don't have these skills to do that. Some people can. Some people, you know what I mean. Like there's famous guys that, you know, taught themselves jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? That become world champion level guys just going to YouTube and drilling with their mate or with their brother or whatever. Like, man, guys teach themselves great because this is a certain individual that's, you know, 1% that's dedicated, that's going to go there and do whatever it needs to be done to get to that point. The average person, man, you got to be coachable, dude. You got to listen to people. Like, for example, this is, man, and I get frustrated with this in the classes, and there's so many different things that I struggle with in terms of coaching. Man, I get annoyed in the classes when you explain the technique and people will go off and start talking to each other about the technique instead of asking you a question. And man, I say it in the classes all the time, like, guys, if you understood the skills, if you knew all the same stuff, you would be here teaching the class and not me. But, you know what I mean, you have the ability to ask the coach or talk to them and get the information you want. And that's something that sets Matt Barr apart. Man, at some point in time, I don't know what point it was as a belt level, but man, we train a lot. We've been training partners for a long time, and he's a similar size to me, and he's a very technical, skilled guy, and he's improved so much over such a short period of time because of his change in attitude. But man, what does he do? He comes and asks me all the time. Why? Yeah. Because I'm the one doing the techniques on him. He doesn't go and ask the guy that's another...
That's funny when a white belt asks another guy that's a white belt that's been here for a week. And the guy answers it, the guy take it, and you just look like, man.
Or they start sharing, and I'm not saying that, I'm not deterring people from sharing information and doing that stuff, but all right, before you ask any questions, before you talk to each other and share techniques, do the work. You can't come here, drill 3 times, and then start spitballing ideas and, you know, workshopping a technique. You can't even do it yet. You haven't even attempted to do it.
I have a saying that I created that's like, before you start showing, man, you have to be doing training with like many different partners in real life. You're doing all the time. If you master that, all right, now you can start showing. And that's the same for the guy that's asking. Ask the guy that's doing with you 5 times in a row, like because he knows how to do the position. You know, don't ask someone that never done it.
But man, I just think in general, like before you ask any questions, do some work, man. Do some work.
True.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people will drill a technique one time and they're already, oh, but if I put my leg like this, and what's the purpose of this? You're wasting your time, man. Do it 3,000 times. And then when you go and try it live and you have some mistakes and stuff like that, all right, let's adjust and correct. But man, the first thing you're already doing is wanting to talk before doing any work. Come on. You're not serious about getting good.
It's funny when you see, because the class, in our class, you got half an hour of drilling,
max,
you're showing the half hour drilling part, you're 10 minutes of you talking.
10-15 minutes of talking.
And you got a finite time.
Yeah.
Just rep it out. You got to get the reps.
Get your work done. That's right.
Don't talk, just reps. Boom.
You know what I mean? But it's much
also
easier,
the responsibility to put that in training. That's the only themselves can do it. That's the hardest thing. That's accountability. It's not you drill, all right, but now you have to try and training. And guess what? It's a lot harder. So you're gonna have to.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. You do the drills. Do you know what I mean? It's so hard to do it live training. You can't even do it more than 10 times on the guy when he's helping you. How are you going to improve, man?
And you have to do it tomorrow. Yeah. I remember, it's very important. Like people don't take that, like how much you think about jiu-jitsu, how much you drill. Like, man, you can always stay for 10 minutes and drill the technique, but people, they want to show the new technique, the cool stuff. They never drill what they need.
Yeah.
Like this is something that I always criticize,
But that's just the same thing we talked about before about not putting their pride aside. Like they're so caught up in their own pride and their own idea of themselves, or like their image, which is, man, this is the modern landscape of people. Image is the most important thing now, not reality. Reality is something that's it's unflattering reality. No one wants unflattering. Everyone wants the most beautiful, amazing glory. Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, if you get caught in that trap, which most of us do, you don't have the outcomes you want.
And like you saying, Matt, like for you, like the beauty, the pleasure of being training now, it's like exactly to open up and try new things. I have the same thing. For me, a great day on the mat would be if I was able to do something that I haven't done before proficiently.
Yeah, like
so it could be I defended a triangle in a different way that I used to, or I've done it like a pass in a different way. That for me is like brings like. But to do that, again, you have to drill.
Rolling back take from the half guard.
Rolling back take from the half guard and make Anton laugh. Man, that's priceless.
Well, you got to take your little victories. Hey, yeah. So like, I mean, when I roll with Anton, the outcomes it's the same. Yeah. I get beaten every roll. Yeah. But I sometimes, I'll go home and I'll go.
Good position.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go home and go. Oh, I went, nearly went to his back. Or, put him on bottom.
Triangle.
Yeah,
I love the word when I train with Anton. I love the word nearly. Oh, nearly. Nearly, which doesn't count. But no, But anyway, like the funny thing, this is the other thing too. You can tap. It happens to me, like, and that's that thing that happens to you too. Like, I'll give you a couple examples, but like. From getting so many stimulus from Anton, like now because you receive so many, you understand the time to do it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, passing a guy, like putting my hip and getting heavy, now you do that all the time. You know what I mean? Like that is the lesson just in itself. Like you learn, you suffer so much, you learn.
Big time.
If you open for it, right? If you have the right mindset.
100%. I remember when I first started here as a blue belt. Why do you think I'm so good at getting out of the side control, man? Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's very, very difficult to hold in the side control. Why? Man, your side control is heavy as hell. Your side control is so powerful. But I got good at getting out of there or not letting you get there. And that's what makes you skillful. That's what makes you good at jiu-jitsu. Not because you want to, by default, man. Otherwise it's going to stay there and choke you and smash you or get your arm, whatever. So you have to figure out, you have to be super accurate and go, all right, how am I going to address this flaw, this problem, this issue? And it doesn't stop at jiu-jitsu. That continues when you go home. That continues next week, next month, next year. You got to go home and do your own homework. You got to work on yourself every day. And if you're not willing to do that, then stay average. And that's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
And for example, I remember vividly that when I used to train, like there wasn't many black belts, right? And you train for black belt. It's such a privilege. Because you're training with someone that's technical, So you're gonna get an array of techniques that's gonna be displayed against you. And if you don't worry about the results, like you just worry about what's happening there, you'll be training jiu-jitsu with that person. So you have a great opportunity to learn. And I remember, like, in the culture of jiu-jitsu, when you finish the train, you say, oh, thank you very much. Like with a black belt, you'll be like, man, thank you so much. And people now, not everyone, but some people, when they started, they go, I'm gonna beat this guy. Man, you're not gonna see what's happening. Guess what? Yeah. He's gonna beat you 20 times, but you lost the great opportunity to see what happened, because he was actually beating you with jiu-jitsu. It was the most technical, skillful guy, or greatest opportunity you had to learn, you know? So
yeah, and that's just, again, getting out of the mindset of trying to win or trying to get the result, as opposed to trying to see what's actually happening in front of you right now. And you're like, why are they beating you, as opposed to, oh, they're beating me.
Exactly. What are they? Absolutely.
I know, man. That battle of the pride, man. That's the biggest. And that's the biggest obstacle in jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, man.
True.
Like, there's other obstacles that are difficult to understand, but like the other ones are much more addressable, like, because they're technical. You know what I'm saying? Like you can learn to understand the technical stuff better always. You're always going to be able to do that, because it's like mathematics. It's like Pythagoras, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Like, you can learn the formula. This thing to do with addressing yourself, there's no formula for that. It's very, very difficult. That takes years and years of focusing on that and going, look, I do have this issue. I'm a bit angry. I need to work on that. Oh, I'm a bit, proud. I'm too focused on winning and losing. My pride is really damaging me. That takes years of work, man. It takes years of your own work to go home and, like I said, not one day, not 1 week, not 1 year. It takes until you figure out how to address that, and that's going to be a constant battle for the rest of your life.
But that feeling is going to eat you alive. Like you train well, you go happy days, and you train bad, you go devastated home. This is going to make jiu-jitsu unpleasant at one point.
Man, that makes life
if you don't change, exactly, and you take to other walks of life, you take an unpleasant life. Like, you have to learn, you have to be happy to have lessons, you know what I mean? And address it, think about it,
But nobody does the work, man. That's the problem. Like, nobody, people always talk about doing the work, because it's easy to say that. Yeah, I've been working on the half guard for 3 years. All right, what sweep do you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I've been working on myself. What have you been doing? Oh, I wrote down, my feelings in a book.
Yeah.
What did that produce over this amount of time? What's the work? What are you doing? What do you got to present? You know what I mean? Are you researching how things work? Are you researching your jiu-jitsu? Are you doing your stuff at home every day? Are you doing your stuff at home every week? Man, I'm the same. I always complain about injuries. I don't stretch enough. That's my fault. It's not your fault. It's not my mum's fault. It's not the universe's fault. It's my fault. I'm not stretching enough. That's why I get injured. I need to correct that. I need to work on that. And I do my best, and I, suffer with it. And I go, my back's sore. I can be training too much, lifting too heavy, not enough stretch. But man, you have to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work, but they want the outcome. And that's why they're stuck in this cycle. I've got this issue of pride, and I'm not willing to lose, to improve, but I want to be better. And they're stuck there. But something's got to give. Either you're going to stay like this and be unhappy for the rest of your life, or you got to start being uncomfortable and doing the job and doing the work. And that's the battle of life.
And there's nothing better in jiu-jitsu than training someone that has the same mindset as you.
Oh man.
Of like, man, I that's all I want right now. I'm 45. I have no problem in tapping, but all I want to do is train tapping for someone that's doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I don't want to be punched in the face, elbow in the mouth 3 times to then, I don't want that. I can't do that. That's not fun.
What you'll find is when you are a student who does the jiu-jitsu, who exchanges positions, guess what? All the higher belts want to train with you. So you're going to get the best rolls for the class.
And you're going to improve because of that.
Exactly.
If you go crazy and you want to win and you fight for your life, guess what?
You brawl.
Well, but the higher belts, they won't
touch you. They won't touch you. Take it 10 times more.
I don't want to risk getting injured rolling with a white belt who's going to kick me in the head 40 times and doesn't even realise he did it.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and a follow. Check out all our different social media platforms. There's heaps of content coming out. There's different snippets and content on different platforms. So make sure you're on everything. And again, if it helped you out, recommend to somebody else, and hopefully it'll help them out too.